The face or the body, which one is actually more important for overall physical attractiveness? And this is the age-old question we're going to try to take a look at in this video. You see, the face and the body provide different signals to our brain about a person's genetic quality and other factors of their health, such as body fat levels. We're going to discuss what these signals are and reveal which ones are crucial for overall perceived attractiveness, but the answer to this question is not as straightforward as you may think, as contextual factors can influence where our attention is directed, either towards the body or towards the face. So to answer this question, we need to take a look at how physical attraction works. From an evolutionary perspective, attractiveness serves as a cue to the quality of an individual as a potential mating partner. Charles Darwin identified the importance of physical attractiveness in mate choice back in the 19th century, and although his focus on men is outdated, the concept still remains valid in today's sciences. And this raises a really good question: why do we perceive certain features as attractive? According to evolution, attractive traits are associated with the good genes hypothesis, where we hypothesize that by being attractive, you must have health, youth, and other desirable social abilities and positive physical characteristics. And both the body and the face can provide us those cues to desirable features. Desirable facial characteristics could be symmetry, averageness, and the traits associated with masculinity or femininity, also called sexual dimorphism. We've covered these topics in our other videos on the channel. If you're interested, watch these. But on the other hand, bodily attractiveness is often related to other measures such as the waist-to-hip ratio and the body mass index. Even though the information received from the body and the face cannot be separated, each one provides unique pieces of content that our brain processes subconsciously that are complementary to each other and reflect different aspects of a person's mate quality. So for instance, facial attractiveness signals both health and certain personality traits, where people can look scary, they can have scars on their face which can indicate aggression, high testosterone, etc. But bodily attractiveness is more complex, as it provides different information depending on whether you're looking at men or women, obviously. Because female bodily attractiveness reveals information about fertility, sexual maturity, pregnancy even, whereas for men, the body encodes information regarding physical strength, athleticism, dominance. These traits were once relevant for survival and the ability to provide resources to a family. Although they're less important in modern Western society, they still have an impact in how we choose partners. Now that we've discussed the signals given by the face and the body for both men and women, we have to address the initial question: which one is actually more important for physical attraction? Although both the face and the body make a significant contribution, there are several studies that suggest that facial attractiveness is a stronger predictor of overall attractiveness than bodily attractiveness. To understand what this means, let's take a look at the way scientists conduct the studies. Typically, participants are shown photographs of an individual and asked to rate their attractiveness. The images would include whole body, face only, or body only photographs. Through data analysis, researchers can determine which aspect of attractiveness, facial or bodily, plays a more significant role. These studies show that both the face and body are important in evaluations of overall attractiveness for both men and women. However, facial attractiveness tends to be more important in mate choice decisions. As we've seen, the face and body both convey different signals to people. There are several potential reasons why the face is generally more important than the body. One possibility is that the face is more genetically determined and therefore a more reliable indicator of an individual's health and mate quality, where in bodily features, they're more subject to an individual's lifestyle choices. For example, your body fat levels. This is called the honest genetic health indicator theory, where the harder a facial feature is to change, like your facial development, bone structure, height, even for your body, then the more honest it is as an indicator of your genetic makeup. Another possible explanation is that the face conveys more information in less space, making even slight imperfections much more noticeable as they appear more clustered together. In addition, the face conveys social signs such as interest or disinterest in another person, which is also crucial in dating context. And finally, clothes can alter or mask your bodily cues. How often do you see a person's body in its full form? And so the face is a more accessible and, again, going back to the honesty theory, it is a more honest indicator of your genetic quality because it cannot be masked as easily. However, the answer is not that simple, like with most things. As we've discussed in other videos, preferences for certain facial traits depends on contextual factors for both men and women. For For example, are you looking for a long-term or a short-term partner? The type of relationship that somebody is seeking can influence their perceptions of attractiveness. Does the preference for face over the body always apply, or is it situational to the dating context? Well, one study by Confer and colleagues addressed this question by showing participants covered photographs of potential partners and asking them which part of the body they would like to observe if they were looking for a short-term or a long-term relationship. Using the box removal procedure that these authors came up with, they found that women preferred to reveal the face at almost the same rate for both long-term and short-term dating contexts, around 70% of the time. And this suggests that women's preferences for facial attractiveness is not affected by the dating scenario. To them, it's a very important thing, how you look like. However, men's interest in the face dropped from around 70% in the long-term context to less than 50% in the short-term context, where they cared more about the body. In other words, the attention of the men shifted towards bodily features like curvaceousness when considering a potential partner for a short-term relationship, but for long-term relationships, the face was just as important. So this raises the obvious question, why are men more interested in bodily features when seeking a short-term partner? Well, this is related to the type of information that's conveyed by facial and bodily features. In short-term dating, immediate sexual fertility becomes more important since the relationship is not expected to last as long. Cues to current fertility can be found in both the face and the body. For example, ovulation causes women to experience an increase in perceived attractiveness and a decrease in the waist-to-hip ratio, which is considered an indicator of bodily attractiveness. On the other hand, for long-term dating, men place more value on a partner's potential fertility, which is typically associated with health and age. The expected future fertility is also signaled by both face and body. For example, having pockmarked, acne-ridden skin could reveal a history of disease and therefore is considered an unattractive feature, while having long legs is correlated with a lower risk of acquiring several diseases. Believe it or not. If both current and future fertility can be conveyed by both facial and bodily features, then why do men shift their interest towards the body in short-term dating context? Well, scientists don't really fully understand the reason yet. It's possible that a woman's face provides richer information regarding her potential fertility, whereas her body reveals more important cues to her current fertility. But this implies that when men are seeking current fertility, they tend to focus on the body, and when they're seeking future fertility for a long-term partner, they tend to focus on the face. But why are women's preferences independent of the dating context? Well, since men's fertility doesn't decline as much with age as women's fertility does, women have not evolved to attend to fertility cues more than the other cues of a man, such as his strength, his power, wealth, resources, those factors, in the same way that men have attended to fertility cues above all else. This means that women are not programmed to be interested in other factors such as a man's fertility as much as men are. Therefore, there is a difference between men and women in their perceptions of attractiveness in short-term dating conditions when fertility is more important for men. Based on the evidence so far, it appears that the face is generally more important than the body when it comes to attractiveness. However, this could be due to the fact that the face is typically more visible than the body. In their paper, Face and Body, Independent Predictor of Women's Attractiveness, the authors used photographs of women wearing either casual clothes or bikinis to explore the topic. They discovered that both facial and bodily features play a role in overall attractiveness in both casual clothing and body-exposed scenarios. However, for women in casual clothes, facial attractiveness was more strongly linked to full body attractiveness than bodily features. This is reflected in the first graphic where the data points are more tightly packed with the higher correlation. And interestingly, when women wore bikinis, there was no significant difference between the facial and the bodily in terms of their contribution to the overall attractiveness. These findings indicate that men tend to consider more faces or the body depending on how exposed or masked the body is. Essentially, the more visible the body is, the more it influences perceptions of attractiveness. And unfortunately, these studies have been performed for male observers only, so we don't know if the conclusions hold true for women. It is important to note that while the studies are interesting and these results provide some insight, clothed bodies provide a more realistic picture of how people actually perceive you in everyday life. Therefore, while the results on exposed bodies are relevant in specific contexts, for normal dating situation, the facial features are more important in determining overall attractiveness. And so, to answer our initial question, both bodily and facial appearances contribute to overall attractiveness, with a stronger influence on facial features, as indicated by the scientific literature on the topic. One limitation of these studies is that they rely on photographs which provide only static information. In reality, the movement and dynamics of both the body and the face play a crucial role in attraction. For example, the way a person moves can indicate their physical coordination, while facial expressions can reveal personality traits and dating intentions. Future studies will clarify how factors related to movement affect attractiveness, which is a topic we're going to cover on this channel. So if that interests you, please do subscribe. As always, if you'd like to learn more about your facial features, the factors that influence it in short-term and long-term dating context, the geometry and proportions and harmonies of your face, you can have a detailed assessment performed by our team of doctors and dentists over at the QOVES website to learn more about your physical characteristics. As always, that's at QOVES, and I'll catch you all in the next one.